Okay, welcome back to Hydroneer. This is going to be episode 2. If you haven't seen 1, I would definitely suggest it. You can find it in my playlist in the comments section or in the description. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about all the tools. Now, there's a lot of you are unaware that some of the tools functions, and some of them are really good to have, and you guys are skipping past them. So, as I mentioned last video, we're going to take off. So there's the small lot that we're at, and it also I should have mentioned that in the first video, you want to build the minimum that you need to in a small land and earn the 6,600 gold coins, so you can go buy the biggest lot and also be by the biggest store, which is really close by. Because this is just a lot more work being on this side of the map. So let's head over there. You'll have to bear with me. So yeah, while you're learning how to drive the truck and having to move around, it's just a much better game once you know, get a few gold coins together and get ready to cross over the map. And, if you're going to buy land, you might as well go in and buy the most expensive one. 6,600 gold coins, it's not that much. I mean, you play for a few hours and you've already got that. So I don't know why I see so many people trying to struggle to build all kinds of stuff on that little piece of land when you have to take it apart. You have to drive all that stuff across the map, and it's just not worth all the time. Make what you need to make on a little lot. Abandon that rig over there in case you need extra gold at some other point on that side of the map, and then head on over here. So after you cross over the map here, you'll take your first right, and it should be coming up here shortly. Walking and using the truck is about the same speed. However, it does take a little bit of skill driving the truck. You will have to learn how to do that. I mean, that's about 40% of the game is going back and forth to buy. Then you take your next right, and then here you are. Now let's just take a look here real quick. That's the big store. It has everything. So unlike the other side of the map, you have a limited number of things over there. No drills, no nothing other than pipes. And then this thing has everything. And then just right down there is the biggest piece of property you can buy. And if you notice, the road is twice as wide, only one set of rocks there to get in your way. And so, yeah, stop struggling with the small map, really. Okay, let's go on over and take a look at the tools and see what's going to be useful, okay? The first store that we're going to come to, these are all just glamour items. When you actually get it, this is like in-game stage where you're putting tables, rugs, beds, gold thrones, trophies and little mannequin heads, and you can also buy a safe to put your gold bars in, plaques for your fishing, and then of course you have these pedestals over here. You drop your money in, and then you buy it, and then you take it home. So the store that we're most interested in is over here. And this is where you buy everything. You drop everything over there in the big ramp, and you can pay right here in the bucket. So that's a Goliath drill, and I will make a video specifically about that. The next with the big stick out the top, like a popsicle stick, that's going to be your ram drill. So that's one item that you'll be using a lot of, and of course it processes the dirt through the harvester. So anyways, we want to talk about the actual tool. I think we're pretty good with the pipes and all. In case you did miss it last time, there's your filter, pressure pump, pressure gauge, and then of course your gate valve and all that. And the blue bags, you're going to use lots of those. You get 5 tools in each. So that means five fixes per broken item. Okay, first on our list is going to be the furnace. Look, guys, you can't just set that on dirt, okay? It has to be on a flat surface. So typically, sometimes you can. If the dirt's really flat, you can set it down. When you do set it down on a flat surface, like you buy some flooring or a concrete block, or you buy a box, you set it on top, and automatically a flame starts burning, and then you can add this guy over here, which is your crucible. It looks like a big potted plant with no plant. and you stick that inside of there, and then of course, you put all your gold and gems or whatever you want to melt into that pot, and then within 30 seconds, that turns into a gold bar. And then the hammer that's specific to that is right here. It's a casting mold. I'm sorry. It's a blacksmithing hammer. Okay, it's specific to that. And then you can pour your material in this thing. And like I said, I'll go over all that works for the smelting and all. Your anvil, where you add your gold and ore, and then of course your gems to make jewelry. And then let's go over to the tool table and talk about some of the useful things. These mining hats, they just provide a little bit of light if you're deep in a cave. A lot of people don't like them because they do kind of obstruct your view. Maybe that'll change in future updates. To me, one of the nicest tools here that most people don't know about or don't use is called a construction hammer. Look, guys, when you're out there and you're clicking, you're pressing E to pick things up and put it down, and you make a mistake, and then all of a sudden you rip out one of your drills or your flooring or whatever, and that's annoying. You buy that little hammer right there, and you tap on an object, it'll hold it in place until you pull it, hammer out again, and tap it again. Okay, that's how you solve that irritating problem with the game, things moving around when you actually selected the wrong thing. The next up, everybody gets a basic shovel, so we know what that is. And then, of course, you have this other advanced shovel. I skipped right past that. I really didn't have much need for that. You have the little bitty lamps, but I really recommend the tall lanterns, the little like lamp post, and that's in another store right down the street there. Now, the second most important tool in this game is going to be, in my opinion, the pickaxe, because that, unlike the shovel, it digs, but it doesn't keep the dirt. It makes the dirt disappear. Okay, that means you can dig a hole all the way down 20 or 30 squares down, deep, and it just gets rid of the dirt. There's no more dirt to deal with, so that is a great purchase. The third most powerful tool is this magnet. At some point in this game, you're going to have a pan, like you see that pan over there. You're going to have a pan of gems, and you're going to accidentally left click it, and then all the gems are going to explode across the map. They don't just simply fall out that pan, they explode everywhere. And so you sit there with that mouse and you're pressing that, you're spamming E to pick all that stuff up. You can use your magnet, it'll drag it all into a pile, everything that's near, okay? So, and let me tell you something about tools in this game. It can be glitchy, okay? These tools don't disappear, so you're not going crazy when these things disappear. What happens is it'll glitch and it'll fall straight through the ground all the way to the bottom. And then one day when you're 50 hours into the game and you're digging this deep hole, you go and you'll run into one of these tools, you go, wow, okay, that's where it went. Now, the saw is pretty interesting. When you have a bucket full of gold, say, and then you smelt it into a bar, it could be of any value. It could be 1,000 gold pieces, or it could be 1,000,000 gold pieces that make that gold bar. Every time you saw that bar, it chops it in half. Some of these videos where these guys are talking about they're so rich and they have all these bars, really, that's just kind of a scam. They're really not that rich. They're just taking a bar. They're taking that saw and they're just cutting the bars over and over and over. And so you get this big stack of gold bars. You think that they're rich, but the reality is they really only have about 15,000 in gold, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Why you'd want to sit there and trick people into believing that you have all this gold when you don't. So as far as I know, you can't use a saw on a gold nugget, but I'm gonna test that theory because I am suspicious of some videos I've seen where people have a lot of those gold nuggets, and I'm not quite sure that that's up to par. Another important tool here, and it's really not a tool; it's a part. It's a cork. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to plug pipes occasionally, because you're building out something, and then maybe you're preparing for a second drill, and so always keep about 5 of those around. And let's see, as far as tools go, that really covers it. I mean, make sure you get your construction hammer, your magnet, and your pickaxe. Those are the 3 most important things. Also, as I mentioned, don't lay things down, okay? Because it can go through the map and vanish. At least you think it vanishes. Buy this tool rack. That's actually, you can buy that for 78 coins. Uh, give you some advice. Just buy 3 because eventually you're gonna want to keep sets of these tools all over. Once you build out a factory, you've got 8, 10 machines going, so you're gonna want a rack of all these tools. Look, you're gonna make so much money in this game that you can buy 100 of everything. So I wouldn't be worried. I like to take you over to the next door, and one more thing I'd like to show you. Here's a scale if you want to weigh your gold bar. And then of course you have your grinding wheel, so you can take your rough gems. Something about the gems I want to tell you, a lot of guys on YouTube talk about using ram drills, and they're great for starting, but the reality is they don't produce very big rough gems. So if you really want to make the best jewelry out there, you're going to have to get a Goliath drill going to get those monster gems, because your ram drills are never going to produce anything bigger than small rough pieces. So just telling you that you're going to have to, migrate to do that. Let's go over here. Now, this shop has a lot of useful items. First, let me show you this. You have 2 options for lighting, as I mentioned in the first video. These light posts are, to me, the best thing because they light well. You get 5 or 10 of these bad boys, you can light up your map. This bed, you click on it, it resets the sundial, but the thing about it is it still takes time for it to warm up the sunlight overhead, okay? One thing that you're going to use a lot of is you want to get away from using crates and start using concrete blocks. They make the perfect walking surface. And then, of course, you use your construction hammer to lock them in place, lock everything in place. The only thing you'll have trouble locking in place is going to be the tool rack itself, because you have to hang the hammer on it. And I've yet to figure out a way to tap the rack and also hang the construction hammer on it. Okay, other than that, everything else can be locked in place except for the tool rack and that smelting pot. You can't lock that for obvious reasons. Let me give you some advice. The tin you can build a lot of things with. It's a little bit strange to work with, but what's going to give you trouble is these tables, okay? You purchase them right here. Let me tell you something. Sorry, that's a regular table, but then you have the foundation, large wood foundations. You're gonna have a lot of trouble getting in the back of your truck. And when they do bounce out the back, they can be shot clear across the map. I struggled with it a lot, so you may want to stick with flooring to start with. But same thing there with the flooring. I think that really people should just use the concrete blocks, but it's up to you. One thing that's hidden is the windows. Let me tell you something. Those are great things to use. I use a lot of them. One, you can see through them, so they make the perfect guard when you want to keep your gems inside your conveyor belts. Okay, and you can also see through them, so it's a highly useful tool. You can do some painting. So in-game stage when you're building your home with your walls and all that, and you have your roofing, and you can paint your walls and all that. Okay, so that's just your in-game stage. So. Now, as promised in the last video, let's go take the big lot. Take a look at it. Oh, one more thing we should mention. So we're going to walk around, and then here is going to be your new selling area when you get in this area. And then over here, you can purchase another truck. I think one thing people struggle with the most are these trucks, driving. They get a little bit stressed out over it. But if you think that's hard to learn, this drill is very flaky to use, and I'm about to make a video and show you guys how to properly use that. You really can't just dig holes. I don't think that Max has had enough time to do everything he wants to do with that drill yet, so maybe we'll see more out of that later. Okay, let's go on around and let's take a look at the big property I've been talking about. So yeah, you build out the minimum of 2 ram drills, 2 harvesters. You start producing your money. You get enough bucket, get enough. Oh, and also all that junk you have laying around your lot towards the mid and end game, you just take over here, you drop it on this, and then it'll give you a recycling block that's worth money, so you can clean up your property. Now let's get on down there to the main lot. Now I want to show you a neat trick. This game has what they call an unstuck button. So if you press escape, 1, 2, 3, 4 square down right here. Let me tell you something about that unstuck block. If you understand the game mechanics for this game, you can use it as a teleport, okay? Watch this. So the game is designed, Max has designed it where when you get stuck somewhere, the game knows to send you to the nearest place. And what the game wants to send you to, it sends you to one or two places, okay? If you're nearest the store area back here, it'll teleport you in there, which is perfect. If you pass this rock, and I'm just telling you I know this from testing it, you pass this rock, hit escape, unstuck, voila, you're at the big lot. Let me tell you how that comes in useful. When you're driving that truck, you can teleport yourself directly here. And take a look at this. You see how I have the water set up right there? There's a reason why. And that's because if I'm anywhere on this map and I run out of gas, guess what? I can just unstuck, teleport myself, and I'm ready and waiting right under the water tank. So that's kind of manipulating the game mechanics because I understand how it works. But yes, if you look down here, that rock is your indicator that you can go ahead and teleport to your house. And once you get to the rock, go and head to the store. You can teleport right into the store. Okay, I don't think Max designed it to be that way, but that's how I use it. So what you would normally see here, if I hadn't purchased it already, is your bucket right here. This is where you would normally pay, and there'd be a sign. This big chunk of land, which is the biggest chunk, and it's real deep, 30, maybe 40 squares going down, you can dig, is only 6,600 coins. I'm telling you, a very small amount. So, the moral of the story is, folks, build the bare minimums. Forget about the smelting, all the other game mechanics and other missions in the game. Do what you have to do in your small land, then get over here because you're near your store, and now you know how to teleport back and forth. And so it makes your life a lot easier. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and in the next video, I'm going to be discussing how to use the pipes, and also in another video, I'm going to be discussing how to drive these different vehicles. Okay? Thank you for your time. Bye.